Doris, you were the first president of the Institute of the Sisters of Mercy of the Americas. And your background is both chemistry and a PhD in theology. After you served for 8 years as president, then you moved into healthcare, and you have served on so many boards. Can you just give us a few examples of some of the boards that you have served on?
Some people say I have a high tolerance for meetings, so I guess that has something to do with serving on so many boards. I've been on the boards of national organizations like the Leadership Conference of Women Religious, the Catholic Health Association, which I chaired, other health systems, the Sisters of Charity of Leavenworth, which I chaired, 4 or 5 colleges, universities, also a couple of seminaries, individual hospitals, educational systems, and social service boards. I think one of the characteristics of the Sisters of Mercy that I value is the fact that we sponsor institutions. Now that seems kind of obvious, but it's not true of every religious community. But it is very true. It's very much part of our sort of lifeblood, if you like, or our DNA is a better word. In fact, the phrase in our constitutions that says it all for me is, we sponsor institutions to witness to our enduring concerns. And as I reflect on that, what it says to me is that gifted leaders come and go. This president, this board chair, this faculty member was wonderful, but their time passes. Other gifted leaders take their place, but the institution endures. And some of them endure more than a century, and we hope will endure for another century. It's the institutional character that amounts to the commitment to continue the work. Not that institutions don't change. I'm sure we've all seen that. But the something about the DNA in it, or the covenant perhaps, that participants have made to one another is what endures. One thing I like to say about board service is that it's a team sport. I've heard a board member say occasionally, well, I can't make the board meetings, but I'll be of help to the president. Well, that person is not a board member, not a good board member. The board decisions are made as a group. And so whatever advice a board member can give the president or someone outside of the board meeting, that's fine, that's well and good. But the board acts as a group. And the board should be diverse. It should represent all the constituencies that the institution serves. And it should be close to the mission of the organization. It is the carrier of the mission. And for the mission to go forward, the institution has to have the resources and the reason to go forward. In being invited to serve on a board, the institution will have a history, unless you're fortunate enough to become the first president or the first board of something. But generally, there's a history and a tradition, and sometimes it goes back over a century. That is something precious to carry forward, but equally important is the vision of what the future will be. And I think that's a tension, a healthy tension on a board. How do we identify with the mission as it's been? What was the initial vision of this place? It was to serve the students in this geographic area. But as time goes on, that area no doubt expands. The needs of the students change. And so we can't be caught in some kind of nostalgia for what was. Well, back in the 30s or back in the 19th century. No, we have to focus on the future and take what is the good that's to be done. It's preparing young people for mature adulthood and for their service to the human community. And those needs have changed over the years. So the board has to be up to speed on all that and able to articulate and challenge the administration to carry the ministry and the mission forward into a new day. So it calls for a variety of gifts on the board. It calls for people who can monitor the finances, who can oversee the human resource policies, who can oversee strategy, and most of all, people who have a passion for the community served and the mission as it's brought forward. I think to take advantage of being a member of the Conference of Mercy Higher Education, it has to be known by every participant. I can imagine on every website and on the signage in front of the university, in front of the college, the name of the organization, and then underneath, prominently displayed, a member of the network of Mercy Higher Education. That's how you build ownership of the whole thing and add value. Becoming a member then has to mean something to every person in the organization. When I think about the ongoing value and the future of our educational institutions, I speak from the perspective of having been a trustee at two of them. So I won't mention the two, but a special part of my heart is still there. But I think, a lot of attention is given in all of higher education to what is the employability of these young men and women when they leave here. And of course, that is important. But there's something more about their potential employability as a physician or a nurse or dentist or lawyer or business person. And that is, when they leave our schools, I'd like to think that they're missioned and that they're sent forth into the world with not only the learning they have, but some core values which they have seen demonstrated, which they have practiced, and which have become part of their own identity. Values like human dignity, mercy, care for the poor, care for the earth, a commitment to nonviolence, respect for others, and so on. If they carry those values forth, whatever employment they have will be the richer for it.